Hello, good afternoon. This is a question for HR as well as Sachin here. Yeah, basically, once a student passes out from an MBA school or a business school, most of the time he will say, I want a job, not a marketing job, a sit and do job, like administration job and so on. Why they are saying that? Because once they say sales, there is a lot of pressure. And once you get into the industry, they will feel the pinch. So what, as an HR as well as a sales team, can you educate them in this college level? Because nowadays, once they say interview sales, okay, then they will be lost. How to manage pressure? You got my question, sir?
The people. Yeah, in fact, what he says is that people are reluctant to take up the marketing jobs. Yeah, because that's what is. I mean, they want, back office work or something, sitting and doing that kind of work. Now, how do you motivate them to go to the market and then market the product?
Because in colleges, they just give the theoretical things. Okay, once they are out, once they, okay, marketing, then the pressure, the target, and unnecessary words and all that, that you know. But how to overcome all those things? It's a very
question. Which college?
No, I'm working now, sir. I studied in Bangalore.
You did Bangalore?
Yeah, studied in Bangalore, but right now I'm working.
Because the data point, let's share data with you. I am Ahmedabad, all the five, management school. Have you finished your question? Yes. Okay. If you really look at the data points, it's just the opposite. The most popular program in all these institutes is marketing, followed by finance. The most unpopular program, least number of enrollments would be for HR, except for XLRI and TISS because they focus on HR. So in your college seems to be just the opposite. And I think it's a function of two things. Number one, the type of profile of students you take, right? Because a lot of people see career advancement opportunities very fast in marketing and also in their interest, right? Because they feel there's a lot of adrenaline in marketing compared to other functions. Second, there could also be a faculty. I don't know how good your marketing faculty is. I don't want to cast any aspersion. Faculty also has a very important role to play to create an interest in the particular subject they teach. So, because if you really ask me, in most corporate organizations, you never take an MBA in administrative functions. HR you might take, but you don't take, if you take general administration, you never take, and no MBA would join administrative functions unless he has done it in non-recognized institution. You never find somebody coming from premier institutes joining administrative functions. So I think what we have to relook at is one interest, the type of profile of people you've got. So if you want more people to enroll in marketing, at least the college, they should take people with more interest in marketing. Second, I think you should review whether why the marketing faculty is not able to create that motivational intensity for making people choose marketing and sales as a career, and remove any kind of misconception that might be there. Let me tell you, administrative job has more pressure than sales guys because it's a thankless job. Like today we had lunch. First question I asked Stanley is, why are there no two counters? Why is there a queue? I never thanked him for giving me lunch. Right? So that's the problem.
Good afternoon.
Where is the
There are many people here who want to start own enterprise, but there is lack of mentoring service here. In this regard, I want to ask Taekwondo Hubli, what help athwa mentoring service are available in this part? Regarding mentoring.
No, one side. You are directing a question to panelists or to Tai Hubli?
Taekwondo Hubli.
Yeah. So, there is in Tai Hubli. Yeah, Tai Hubli has got a mentoring, a program, which is managed by Mr. Vivek Pawar. So you can get in touch and definitely you get a service of mentoring over here. What we have a system is like we have CMs who already manages a number of industries. They have a lot of experience in managing people, and we have another set who would like to be a mentee. So that combination we can definitely provide. After a session you can definitely get in touch with the side, and we do have that from Woodley side.
Any other questions? In fact, core subject, the domain expertise are available for only another 10 minutes.
My name is Raghavendra Odagani. I'm into retailing as well as manufacturing of jewelry. Since half an hour we all are speaking about the investment part, how we are going to take our business to a road ahead. But one thing we are not speaking about the policies of the government. So I think so the main hurdle what we are facing today as a small SME is the policies of the governments. Today our industry is facing a recent problem we had initially, that is the coral. We can't sell corals in our stores. We have a non-bearable warrant for it. Because of a small mistake in the act, as a jeweler I can't sell a coral. The person who comes to investigate, when I speak to him about that, he is blind. So, and I have traveled across the world also. I was working even in Dubai, but the policies over there for a small SME or a businessman is so clear, crystal, to do a business. And that is not there in India. That is the reason why we have this black marketing and we are not able to do business in a very smooth manner. Today the VAT in Karnataka is 2%, whereas in other states, neighboring states, it's 1%. So Karnataka is losing the business in the bordering area. So I think so we should more focus on the policies, how government is ruling on us, which is a big hurdle for any SMEs to work. I think so all the entrepreneurs, brothers who are over here might be facing the same thing.
Representatives will be here. I think that's the best. Yeah.
Hey, Raghavendra, you raised a very valid question. Indian government, instead of facilitating industry or any sector, acts as always a constraining block. There's no two ways about it. But the point is this, in Tejas we had a similar problem. We found that the Chinese companies like Huawei were dumping their goods in telecom sector with a strategic intent of getting into the telecom infrastructure. Because tomorrow in case of a war, they can cripple all our networks. Raja was in that payroll, right? We got to know about it. We complained to this government 4 years ago, right? But later on, believe it or not, I must credit the senior management team of Tejas. I was part of it, but very honestly, the CEO must get a lot of credit. We spent a lot of money collecting data. When we went to the Commerce Ministry for anti-dumping laws, they said prove it. It took us 7 months to collect data, and we had to collect invoices from China. It was not easy. We collected those invoices, from various other countries where China was selling, because dumping means that they're selling the product cheaper here than what they're selling in China. We proved it, and today and then we had to move the file in the law ministry. Veerappa Moily would sit down and do nothing about it. His assistant would do nothing about it. They would not send, because the government, once the Commerce Ministry finishes its job and says they are dumping, the law ministry has to take over and file a case. It's the government which files a case against, levies an anti-dumping duty. And even to move that file, we realized, and then I went to IB head saying there's a security clearance problem. He's a friend of mine. He said, go to the press, otherwise the politicians would not wake up. Now, so these are the problems, I agree with you, but then we got the anti-dumping. So what we did was, we went to the telecom, we have our own industry association. So you must be having your jewelers association. Through the association, make a representative to the government, and you can achieve success, I can tell you that. But it is hard work, it is constraining work, but within 1 year, you can get a policy in your favor. Okay?
That's the point here. Just a question to the audience, just to address that. How many of you are on any committee in, let's say, a CII, a FICCI, an Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, or whatever? How many of you are there on committee? I see 3 hands, right? I want all hands to go up, and I think that's the next time, and I think that's the only way that we can make a difference, right? Very clearly said that there's a very famous adage which says, God helps those who help themselves, right? End of the day, it's us who can make a difference. We have to believe in ourselves, right? So if it means that we got to go work with other industry folks, how do we then work for the benefit of the industry? Because if the industry benefits, all of us benefit with what's happening, and there's immense power in numbers. Unfortunately, I work with various committees and various organizations. It's very fractured, right? People don't commit themselves to certain causes. We go in for meetings. There are certain actions that are agreed. It doesn't happen. And the next time any conference, we all sit around and crib that nothing's happening. Why? Because none of us are doing anything. And I think it's a very powerful thing, and I would definitely want to see a lot more activism from all entrepreneurs here, because finally we have to fight for our causes as a group. And I think the responsibility and the power lies completely here.
So Shakil, let's take the last question from myself. There's one more.
Yeah.
Okay. Only one question.
Yes.
Hi, this is Vijay Kotur here, representing V2 Consultants. Typically, we all talk, the panel all discussed about brain draining from tier 2 cities to the metros. I'm a young entrepreneur. We started a consulting firm 8 months back. We have one international client, which is a US-based company, and it's a multi-million project now we are stepping into. Now, when Mr. Madan also talked about creating a core team, and it should be highly priced from the normal one. And to make it more effective, it has to be, we have to give a sense of ownership for them as well. When I was creating our core team for this particular project, we identified 2 people. One works for Bank of America, and the one is a part of his dad's business. Now, when I talked to them, both of them were said, wow, let's do it, it's interesting. Now, I'm in a situation, 2 weeks from now, the clients are going to be here in India. They're coming down to Dharwad for the site selection.